Alrighty folks, it is a beautiful day. We are going to take my 2018 Ultralimited out. We're all geared up, just need to get our gloves. Gloves. Alright, what are we going to wear? What gloves are we going to wear today? These. Oh, those are winter gloves. Let's see here, These aren't really motorcycle gloves, but they're pretty comfortable. Nah, I'm not going to wear those. Here's my fingerless gloves. I like these. A little older, but I like them. Nah, I'm not going to wear those. Alright, here's my full-fingered gloves. Yeah, here they are. My full-fingered gloves. But don't have the touch. I don't know. No, not those either. Alright, then I got my newer pair of fingerless gloves. My favorite gloves. No, we're not going to wear those either. Alright, here it is. The new full-fingered gloves. You know what, I got so many gloves, I'm not sure what to do with them all, but let's wear these, and let's talk about my favorite. So as you can see, I have a ton of gloves. Some people would say I have a glove issue, which I think is right. So I want to talk today about motorcycle gloves. And this is nothing about winter gloves. This is summer riding, right? What do you wear in the summer? Now, you saw a ton of pair, which is really ridiculous. And I'm not going to make this video about safety because at the end of the day, in my opinion, I should be wearing good gloves to protect myself in case something happens, right? Unfortunate thing happens. But I want to talk about the three different pair that I like to wear. But let's start off with the option of wearing none. Yeah, that is an option. So I'll tell you today, it is about, 80 degrees here in Michigan. I'm out a little bit early in the morning, so it's a little bit chillier. And I'm not wearing gloves. I'll be honest with you, other than maybe going around the neighborhood or something, or moving the bike, I've never not wore gloves. It's just kind of what I do, right? Helmet, eyewear, boots, just kind of what I do is put on gloves. But I'm out riding with it, and I'm like, man, this is actually pretty comfortable. Now, I will tell you a little bit, I think, of the fairing would stop anything that's coming at me. If I'm talking about obstacles or things that are coming off the road to hit me, I should say. Obviously, if I happen to go down, I'm going to have some problems, right? And I'll tell you what, and what really started me thinking about this video was the difference between the fingerless gloves and full-fingered gloves. And I'll get to that in a minute, but there's a couple videos that came out. One from Dan the Fireman, who really screwed me up because I watched one of his videos of somebody that slid and tore up her and his legs and his hands, and I'm just like, oh man, I'm not doing that again. Well, here I am. But that's only to show this video and talk about it a little bit. So those of you that do not ride with gloves, tell me how that is. A little concerning to you or not. Obviously, motorcycle riding has its inherent dangers. But if you don't wear motorcycle gloves, leave a comment if you don't mind. So, my first option really is, this is a set of Willie Skull Harley Davidson gloves. Now, I am going to be showing you Harley Davidson gloves, and I don't necessarily think that they are the best gloves out there. There's, I think, a lot better ones. There's a ton of worse ones. I do like the quality at the end of the day of these gloves, but I'm not promoting Harley Davidson gloves. So these are full-fingered Harley Davidson. I think they call them Willie Skulls. I'll leave the description or the links to all of those in the comments section. And these, do have some area here that if you went down, I think would provide some protection. It does have some knuckle protection there, but not a whole lot. One of the things about them, though, and I don't necessarily do it a lot, but they are not they cannot, they're not touchpad ready. They really just are not. So if you're wanting to do anything, whether it's turn on the radio on your phone or use something here, it is not going to work, even though at the end of the day on this motorcycle you can use controls for that. So I do like these gloves. I think they are, I think they're pretty good. All right, so those Willie Skull full-fingered gloves, purchased from Harley, if I recall, run around $40. And I'll leave that, again, that link in the description, and I'll also make sure that you can see the price somehow on that. So I will tell you, my second pair that I like to wear are these. These are, I don't know if they call them Willie Skull, but they're basically fingerless Harley Davidson gloves. I will tell you that 9 times out of 10, at least in the past, these have been my go-to gloves. I like how they feel. I do like the fingerless. I can change music if I want to. And honestly, from a comfort perspective, I love these things. They are comfortable, and I go to these. You know, I think all the gloves I'm talking to you about are that goat skin type leather, if I recall. And, you know, they all are breathable. So I think that at least the first 2 pair that I've shown you are kind of nice and cool. But I do like these gloves. I just go to these naturally. Now, I'm thinking if I go down, well, yeah, just like the full finger gloves, it has the same pad here as well as the same around the knuckles, but it's really small. I mean, it is minimal. Now, I haven't done any research on if you fall or if your bike goes down. You know, I know the natural tendency is to put your arms and hands down, but I'm also not quite sure that you necessarily fall straight, right, all the time. But obviously these gloves have some danger in that they're not fully protected, and obviously from a finger perspective, if I go down and I'm on my hands, I'm screwed. So this is, again, the ones that I like the most, but quite frankly, I know I really probably shouldn't be wearing these if I'm thinking about safety. Alrighty, folks, so many of you know that follow my channel is last month look at this car wash. Do you do new motorcycles? Hello. I went on a trip, met a couple buddies, and as part of going on that trip and preparing, and I vacillated back and forth between the gloves, I'm like, you know, I really should get some nicer full-fingered gloves that, you know, are comfortable, spend a little money on them. And by the way, so the first set, the full-fingered I showed you, again, I think they're about $40. The fingerless gloves are like $29, and that's from Harley, right? And Harley doesn't have anything for $29 hardly. So both of those gloves are relatively inexpensive, right? But I'm like, all right, I probably need a better set of gloves. They're going to ride 1,100 miles. I'm going to be on the interstate, a lot of trucks, a lot of stuff that could come up and get me, right? So I decided to go by the Harley dealership and get some gloves. Now, yeah, I could have got them somewhere else, but I just couldn't get them in time by the time I made the decision. And I ended up getting these full-fingered, and these are FXRG Harley gloves. Again, I will leave a link in the description as well on these. I love this big old tree. But I bought these gloves, and I rode with them the entire way. So about 1,100 miles on them. And I will tell you, generally, I like them. So here's the challenge, and I'm not so sure if it's the gloves or if it's just me, right? Trying to get used to them. So there's a couple things about them. Well, first of all, you can see that this has a big pad right here, which I'm assuming that's the area they have on this glove where studies show that you're going to fall on, right? And then you can see the knuckle part is much bigger, right? And these are without a doubt comfortable leather. Now, I'm not a huge fan on how far they pull down, but that's really not that big of a deal to me. I will tell you, and this is probably the same with any gloves that are new. Anytime that I went to itch my nose and I took my helmet off, I had some of that black dye that came off, especially after we had some rain, right, on the trip. I will tell you, they are touchpad ready. They work pretty good. I wouldn't say it's fantastic, but they do work pretty good compared to the full-fingered ones that I showed you earlier. So these gloves, I do feel better when I'm riding with them. Again, I prefer the fingerless gloves, but I do feel like I'm being safer with these. I'm kind of getting used to them. The one part I think that bothers me a little bit on these things is the knuckles, man. I'll tell you, it sticks out. So when you are flexing your hand, you can definitely feel they're there. And at the end of the day, it's safer for you, right? So it probably makes sense to wear these gloves. Now, as you can tell, I have so many gloves that, sometimes we fall into habits that we're used to. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all the gloves from my motorcycle, except for these, right? Get used to them. I thought that after 1,200 miles that I would be good with them, and I wouldn't want to go back to the other pair, but again, those fingerless gloves I just really like. So I think I'm just going to eliminate the temptation to do that, because obviously I'm not able to control my motorcycle glove issue, but I would tell you on these, I bought these in 2XL instead of 1XL. All my other gloves are 1XL, and I probably should have bought them in one, because they've stretched a little bit, but they're still good. And of course, I could take them back, but the tags that they have on gloves that are like that long, right? As soon as I put the gloves on, I like them. I cut that crap out of there, right? Because it bothers the crap out of me. So my question to you is, one, do you think I have a motorcycle glove problem? Yes, Bodine, we do. And two, what do you do? Do you go with nothing on? Do you wear a cheaper full-fingered? Do you wear the fingerless? Do you go back and forth? Again, wintertime's a different type of glove. And by the way, these gloves are right around $100. They're right around $100. So I think what I am going to do is try to keep these gloves as the only ones in the motorcycle. So if you see future videos after this where you don't see me with these gloves, call me out, because I'm sure you will anyway. That's it, folks. I'd be interested to see what you do. Leave some comments if you will. I always appreciate that. That's the fun part of doing this motor vlogging and spending time on YouTube. Appreciate everybody looking in. Be safe on and off the motorcycle, and get out there and ride. Bye-bye.